Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you all about the hottest books that I read in 2023. Before I do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about a hot game. The sponsor of today's video, MeChat. MeChat is a virtual dating game where you select your own avatar and then you get to swipe on different characters and date them. I'm sure it comes as no surprise to y'all to know that I've never been on a dating app before. Obviously, I know what they look like, but MeChat has been so fun over the past couple of weeks that I've been playing it because I get to, I feel like, truly experience what that's like in a safe and fun sort of way. And the dates turn definitely a little bit steamy. It's kind of a fun mix of obviously a game on your phone and then also kind of like a romance novel in a sense. It's really fun because there are so many characters, there's a ton of different stories to choose from, and obviously you get to kind of pick what happens next, so it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. It's something that I enjoy, and I especially enjoy it when I'm listening to audiobooks, so I figured it might be something that y'all would be interested in too. If you are interested in MeChat, I'm gonna leave a link in the description down below, and if you use code ChandlerGems, you can get gems to use in the game. I hope you have as much fun playing it as I do. Thanks again to MeChat for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Now let me tell you all about the hottest books that I read this year. First up, we have a Melanie Harlo romance, and it honestly surprises me that it's taken this long for a Melanie Harlo romance to show up on this list because she consistently writes books that make me both swoon and sweat. Could probably find a better word to use to describe how her books make me feel, but you get the point. This book was a certified banger, and let me lay the groundwork and kind of let you know what it's about. Single dad romance, and he's a fucking firefighter. I'm also willing to overlook the fact that the man's name is Dex, because he's hot and he's additionally grumpy, which, you know, single dad grumpy romance, we're all in. Y'all know what it's about. The heroine in this book, I think, makes this romance even more interesting though. Her name is Winnie. She is the daughter of the hero in the first book in the series. I want to say this is book 6 or 8 of a very long series of books that all have really fun premises. Winnie is a hopeless romantic, and she's kind of sworn off love recently at the behest of the people around her. She just kind of lets jerks treat her like shit, and everyone's like, please, Winnie, stop dating men for a little while, just take a break. And she's finally relented, and she's like, you know what, I see the error of my ways. Y'all are totally right after a recent breakup. This obviously proves difficult when she has this hot, sexy, grumpy firefighter next door who has a couple of really charming children who are really enamored with Winnie as well, and so she's having to fight her attraction for him. He's having to do the same. She is a little bit younger than him as well, so I think that's part of his hesitation in getting into some sort of relationship or sexual relationship with Winnie. Obviously things turn steamy, and like I mentioned at the beginning, I feel like Melanie Harlo just has the perfect formula, the perfect balance of romance and sexiness. She does such a good job at keeping the plot and the pacing of her books really tight, so you never feel like you are slogging through something. Her books are never overly long, but I think this one was just perfectly balanced. Grumpy hero, fun, sweet, endearing heroine, adorable kids who didn't become annoying, which is something that often happens, I feel like, when you have kids and a romance, but this one was just so fun, and I feel like this is a book that almost anyone could pick up and really enjoy. Next up is a book that you might roll your eyes at me putting on this list, not because you're going to disagree that it's not sexy, but because I feel like this is a book that so many people have talked about this year, and you're probably looking for new recommendations, but I hope that maybe someone will come across this video in 3 years and have missed the hype train on this book and be guided to it. Wishful thinking, I suppose. I had to put The Right Move by Liz Tomford on this list. It was just so damn good. The Right Move is about Ryan and Indy. Ryan is a professional basketball player, and his little sister just moved out of the really nice apartment that he lives in. She was like, hey, I'm leaving and I'm sure you're really excited to have your place back, but my best friend actually really needs a place to live. I'm moving in with my boyfriend, so could she take my room? She won't bother you. And Ryan is not looking forward to this. He's not excited about this. Indy is so sweet and so endearing. He's like, all right, whatever. She can move in. It's fine. Things get very exciting from there. Indy is dealing with a recent breakup. That is why she is moving out of her last place. She is maybe not in the best place emotionally at the start of the story, but the way that Ryan treats her over the course of the story has her kind of changing her tune, especially considering he needs a fake girlfriend to impress the GM of his basketball team. So Ryan and Indy kind of fake date. There's some kind of blurred lines on whether or not this relationship is actually fake. It is just so hot. It is so good. The thing that makes this book hot is not a million on-page illicit sex scenes, though there are a few and they are very hot. What makes this book so hot is the slow burn and the relationship development. I bitch a lot about overly long romances with good reason. I really love the genre, but there's no reason that you need 600 pages to convince me that characters need to get together, unless they're caught up in a battle between worlds or something. Liz Tomford, though, I think manages to make the page length of this book, I think it's around 500 pages, fly by, and she uses that time so wisely to build tension between characters so that by the time they get together, you were I don't want to say sweating. Why is sweat what's coming to mind right now? Probably because I'm sweating under this light. She gets you to have butterflies in your stomach when the two characters get together. And to me, that is the hallmark of a sexy book. It is not having every hole stuffed, okay? It's not. It's just simply not. And the ending of this book is one of the sweetest, most romantic, most sexy gestures that I think a man could ever do for a woman. I just think you should maybe pick this book up because it's very, very hot. It did make me cry. It was romantic, it was sexy, perfect combo. Amazing. Pick it up. Pick it up if you haven't. I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, pick it up. The next book on my list is the newest installment from Elsie Silver, which I honestly don't think is getting the love that I think it deserves. That's not to say that this book doesn't have any hype or that no one's enjoyed this book. I mean, I think it has like over 4 stars on Goodreads, right? Like people enjoy it, but compared to something like Heartless or Powerless or the other books that Elsie Silver has published this year, I think she's published 3, which is kind of nuts. I just don't think this newest release has been getting the love that those other ones have gotten. And I think that that is wrong because I really liked this book and I thought it was very, very hot. So this book is about Beau and Bailey. Beau is the brother of some of the other heroes in the other books in this series, and he has recently returned from, I don't know if war is the right word. He was in the military on some sort of like secret mission. He got injured. He has PTSD and depression. He just feels really disconnected from his life. He's trying to kind of ingratiate himself back into society and work on the family's ranch, but he's really not passionate about it. Like he really doesn't love it as much as his brothers do. He's just kind of listless. He's maybe drinking a little more than he should. He is going to the same bar every day where he meets Bailey, who is the bartender. He knew Bailey. I mean, he's known Bailey for a while. It's a small town, but he's never really seen her as a potential sexual conquest or someone to like confide in. But Beau and Bailey kind of strike up this tentative friendship where she sort of reveals that her life has been pretty difficult and she's trying to get out of town because of the reputation kind of surrounding her family. No one's willing to hire her for any position really in town. Beau finds this pretty hard to believe. He's like, I don't think it's your reputation or your family's reputation. I think it's because you don't put yourself out there. And I can prove that to you. Let's get engaged. Basically, I'll prove that you still aren't gonna get a job. Bailey's like, sure, shake on it, let's do it. I don't know exactly what she's getting out of this. Well, I mean, I guess hopefully a job for more money so she can get out of town. It's just such a fun book. Obviously, you've got that like fake fiance, fake dating sort of scenario, which I think is always like really fun and sexy. I just really like the way that these two play off of each other. Bailey is sexually inexperienced, but is very forthcoming about her sexual desires, which I think is really fun and sexy and sweet. And then Beau is emotionally damaged, which I don't want to say that that's like inherently sexy, but a guy who's willing to be open with his emotions is very sexy. Also, the hallmark of a good sexy romance is one where deeply unsexy things can occur, and I can still find the book hot. There's a scene where one character lotions the other's feet, and that should instantly be a fuck no, like I'm taking off stars sort of thing. But it actually wasn't gross, and then they proceed to have hot sex, and I was like, okay, I'm not mad at this. I feel like I'm not selling this book maybe as well as I should. It was really fun. I will say this is maybe not the most deeply romantic of Elsie Silver's romances, which is why I can understand some people not liking this one as much as her other books. However, if you're looking for a sexy romance, which that's what this list is. It's not best romances of the year, it's sexiest books that I felt impressed by. That's what this is, okay? And I do ultimately think that Hopeless fits the bill. You know what else is hot? Being totally and wholly accepted for who you are and getting your rocks off at the same time. This book is another, again, that I could like see people questioning. Chandler, like, why are you putting this book on the list? It's not a smutty romance. Nowhere do I say smutty. I say spicy, and I think that's open to interpretation. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, whatever, I don't give a fuck. This book was sexy to me. This book was deeply romantic and deeply sexy, and sexy is not all about getting your holes crammed. I don't know how many times to say it. This book's about Win and Beau. Let's just start there, okay? They meet at a Halloween party, and they both have limb differences, which they bond over, which I think is really, really cool. During this meeting at this Halloween party, they engage in a little bit of one-night stand, shall we say. They get their rocks off. It's hot, it's sexy. I normally don't like hookups in the beginning of books, but I was like, okay, this is actually very hot. Curious to see where this goes. It went in a direction that I was not expecting, nor was I excited about, because Win ends up pregnant from this one-night stand, and I was like, oh, fuck, I do not like an accidental pregnancy novel. Like, don't do this to me. It still ended up being one of the sexiest, best books I've read this year, which again goes to show that if a book is able to overcome the things that I really do not like and still be fucking excellent, that's better than just, oh, this was really good. It's like, wow, this book's really good and you were able to overcome shit I normally don't like. Good for you, author of book. In this case, Hannah Bonham Young. You did a great job, okay? The two characters, Win and Beau, kind of have to figure out if this is a relationship that they want to continue, if they want to just co-parent, and watching them fall for each other slowly over time, have some sexy moments, it's just really hot. There's just something hot about seeing two people slowly fall in love. There's sort of a forced proximity thing going on as well because they live in the same apartment at one point in the book. I don't feel like I need to detail, again, what holes are getting crammed and like what each explicit scene looks like to tell you that this book was hot to me. I enjoyed it. I feel like this is a romance that a lot of people enjoyed, but I think the sexiness factor is often missed because people just kind of write this off as like a sweet book, okay, whatever. And yeah, there's like no really intense third act conflict. It's not like a really angsty romance, but it doesn't have to be angsty to be sexy, right? Being accepted is sexy. I really enjoyed this and I think you should pick it up if you haven't already. And then the last two books are, in my opinion, I would say like more traditionally sexy, okay? This first one is another one where I had to kind of like overcome some preconceived notions because I read the first part of this book and I was like, holy shit, how is this issue going to be overcome? Hail Mary by Candy Steiner is a book about Leo and Mary. At the beginning of the book, they're in high school. It's a college romance, but beginning of it's in high school. These two went to high school together and Mary's deeply unpopular. Leo, of course, is like a running back or something on the football team team. He's like very popular. Everybody really likes him. Our heroine has no chance with this guy, and she doesn't really think she has a chance with him. She ends up playing video games with him online for like an entire year, and he doesn't know who she is. And I don't think she knows at first either who he is. She's not like trying to catfish him or anything. They're just like playing and having a good time and confiding in each other. When the school year starts, like the next year, Mary is like, you know what, I'm finally gonna approach Leo and like tell him that it's me, like I'm the person he's been talking to. And Leo basically acts like he doesn't know who she is. My heart sunk. I was like, oh god, how is this going to be a good setup for romance? I'm scared that this is not going to be something that can be redeemed. Somehow Candy Steiner does it. She does such a good job. Mary in the present day is definitely hurt by Leo's actions still, and when she has to essentially live with him because of like a flooding situation in her apartment, she's not thrilled about it, clearly. Leo is just so enamored with the woman that she is, and she really hasn't changed that much since high school. I believe she's plus size. I could be wrong here. He's obsessed with her. He apologizes profusely. He has to really, I don't want to say dig deep within himself or anything, but he definitely has to grovel, and I think a lot of us can appreciate a good grovel moment. All of that aside though, sex scenes in this book are so hot, and I just think, I don't want to say like age appropriate, but the sexual encounters that happen in these books, in particular like this entire Red Zone Rival series, are just so collegiate. Like they're just so like encounters I feel like that you'd have in college. Fun, sexy, let's not think about the consequences sort of sex scenes. I don't know. I think these are really fun. I love the whole series as a whole. I think Candy in this series in particular does such a good job at balancing how sweet these romances are, but also very, very sexy. I just think they're unbeatable. I still need to read the first book in the series. Books 2, 3, and 4 are phenomenal, and I've enjoyed all of them. So I had to put Hail Mary on this list. It was no brainer. And then lastly, there's a book on this list that I think is the oldest, but it was a really fun discovery for me after being totally enamored with the Brown Sisters books by Talia Hibbert. And the book I'm talking about is That Kind of Guy. This book is an age gap romance where the heroine is older. Ray is 40. She's super successful in her career field, but her confidence has been kind of shaky lately because her husband, her longtime partner, has divorced her, and now she's going to have to face him in a professional setting when she goes to accept an award, I believe. She doesn't really want to go alone. She's like, I don't want to show up alone when my ex-husband has already like moved on to someone else. She kind of convinces Zach, one of her friends, to go with her, and Zach, I believe, is like in his late 20s and she's 40, so it's not like that big of an age gap. Zach plays her fake boyfriend, and Zach has a reputation as a bit of a ladies' man. He's really handsome, kind of gets taken advantage of though, and that's like a big part of this story, is that Zach, even though he has been this like ladies' man player type, he is discovering that he is demisexual. He doesn't want just one-night stands over and over. He's looking for a deep emotional connection. It's interesting because that's not necessarily what Ray is looking for at the beginning of the book, and obviously that changes over time. This book is so fantastic because, again, it's got that sexy acceptance kind of part of things. Ray definitely accepts who Zach is, accepts what he is telling her about needing an emotional connection before he engages in a sexual relationship. So it makes those sex scenes that much more special, that much more sexy. I don't think I've ever read a Talia Hibbert book where I have been grossed out or not impressed by the sex scenes. All of them are swooning to me. She is so good at that. She's great at a lot of things. She's, I mean, just a phenomenal romance author, but she's especially good at writing sex scenes. I feel like this book is definitely worth picking up, especially since it's under 300 pages. I just feel like this series doesn't get talked about quite as much as the other books that Talia Hibbert's written, the ones that are more traditionally published. I think this is an indie published romance. It's definitely worth a try. It's so good. Honestly, all of the books on this list are so good, and I like that they all kind of run the gamut. Some of them are kind of over the top steamy, some of them are just sexy because of the way that the relationship develops over time. I'm all for a sexy romance, but I think what I've really discovered this past year is that, to me, smut for the sake of smut is just not really something that I'm personally into. I need there to be a deeper emotional connection there, or at the very least some sort of relationship development for me to like actually care about the sex scenes and for them to be hot to me. So I hope you have found something new to read from this list. I love making this video every year. I'll leave a link in the description to the playlist where I do these videos, my 6 romance recommendation series. I have all of the like sexiest books of the year videos on this playlist, but also other romance recommendations in different categories, like 6 best historical romances or 6 steamy summer romance recommendations, things like that. So if you're looking for other romance recommendations, again, I'll leave the playlist linked in the description down below. Thanks so much for watching this video. I love y'all so much. Until tomorrow, which is the start of Chanmas.